Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Wednesday, the third day in the 6th month of the year 2020. Hello there, good morning and welcome to AM News on Adoatv Television. My name is Nanya McCullers and let's move straight to our top stories this morning. COVID-19 pandemic churches to form COVID-19 task force, also easing of restrictions measures for schools reopening. This is coming from the Education Minister. 822 contracts awarded to contractors for infrastructural projects at the senior high school level is also coming from the Minister of Education. We have these and many more coming up shortly. Please do stay with us. We're streaming live on Facebook. You may want to join us with your thoughts and comments. Let's settle for the details now. The Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Minister, Honorable Samuel Kofi Jemesi, has emphatically disclosed to all measures to worship centers to avoid the spread of COVID-19 during church service to form a task force which would feature health workers after the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo eased the restrictions on religious activities. Honorable Samuel Kofi Jemesi said the forming of a task force is very necessary and must be trained in infections control and evacuate procedures.
Form COVID task force comprising of members who are preferably health workers. They must be trained in health prevention measures, infection prevention and control, and evacuation procedures by Ghana Health Service. The COVID task force should call 112 or 311 for support to enable evacuation if anyone develops fever, cough, and difficulty in breathing during service. Unwell persons are not allowed to attend church. Older persons and people of any age with underlying medical conditions, heart diseases, diabetes, liver disease, and asthma are advised to stay away from church service.
On the education front, the Minister of Education, Honorable Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, has laid down some measures to be adhered to as students reopened for final year students. According to him, all schools, both private and public schools, who are both at the end of the academic year are to resume school on the set date of the month of June. The Honorable Minister therefore put out measures that school authorities and students are to comply to.
Those students in any institutions which have their final exams. So if you go to some institutions, there will be people ready to write a certificate for NVTI. If you go to some institutions, there will be some people wanting to write their final examination or were preparing for their final examination of a NAPT exam. So it is those classes that government intends reopening schools for to complete their years. When you come into the Ghana Education Service, those classes would include junior high school students who are about writing their BEC. It would include senior high school students who were just about starting their SSCE exams, and final year university students who are about completing their studies. All tertiary institutions can open from the 15th of June. And I mean final year students in private and public institutions can make arrangements and start going into school from 15th of June. They can have academic work, lectures and revisions for 6 weeks and write their final exams. The government has decided that all these institutions, one, should be fumigated against the COVID before the schools reopen. And that is why we have a phased approach to opening the schools. We are starting from the tertiary and non-Ministry of Education and training institutions. The universities have provided most of these things for themselves. Those who are having problems, working through the National Council for Tertiary Education, government is going to support them with face masks and spraying of all these institutions. Also, the Ministry of Health, through the Ghana Health Service, has collaborated extensively with the Ministry of Ghana Education Service and Ministry of Information to come up with a program of sensitized school leaders to ensure that these hygiene, sanitation, and social distancing protocols are maintained in educational facilities. That is also going to be rolled out. There is going to be a special campaign to ensure that students go back to school, especially the JSS level, that the girl child is not left behind, that we are going to make sure that the school rules are known, and those children who don't report to school, we go back and find out why they are not reporting to get them back to school. There's going to be an aggressive campaign. When schools reopen, the schools will not be available for religious activities. When schools do reopen, the schools will not be available for religious activities. And it's simple. We don't want too many interactions that can bring in and take out if we perish their thought. If it so happen, we can contact trace who must have brought or come to the school with this virus we have to deal with. So we want to keep it slim and make sure that only students and their lecturers or teachers are in school. When the junior schools, senior schools do open, there will be no visitors allowed for a period that they are in school. Parents cannot go and visit their kids for that period. And the junior high school is going to operate a less shorter school day so that playground activities would not be permitted. Assemblies would not be permitted.
Still stay in the education front, and the Minister for Education, Honorable Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has also answered questions pertaining to the number of senior high school benefiting from the 804 infrastructure project announced by the ministry. He disclosed that a total number of 822 contracts for various infrastructure projects at a senior high school level across the country has been awarded to contractors to improve access to secondary education.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The ministry is guided by its strategic plan to improve equitable access to and participate in quality education delivery in the country. The provision of school infrastructure is one of the ways to improve access to education. Mr. Speaker, the ministry to date has awarded a total of 822 contracts of various infrastructure projects at the senior high school level across the country to improve access to secondary education.
The minister also moved that the Ghana Communication Technology University Bill 2020 will be read the second time.
That the Ghana Communication Technology University Bill 2020 be now read a second time. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of the bill is to establish the Ghana Communication Technology University as a public tertiary institution to provide education in information technology for information communication technology. The Ghana Technology University College was established in 2006 and has since provided long-term and short-term education and training in information communication technology for diverse stakeholders in information in the sub-region of West Africa. The Ghana Technology University College plays a leading role in the use of technology to enhance teaching and training at the tertiary level. Mr. Speaker, the college has its roots in the Ghana Telecom Flagship Training Center, which was the first of its kind in West Africa. It was used as a Royal Air Force training school during the Second World War and subsequently handed over to the Cable and Wireless to train telecommunication technicians for British West Africa countries.
The motion was seconded with some members of Parliament giving their support for the bill.
The motion on the second reading of the Ghana Communication Technology University Bill 2020. Mr. Speaker, in the memorandum accompanying the bill, it is noted that the GTUC has gone through a number of transformations, starting as a flagship training center during the Second World War. It became a communications engineering institute for the Ghana Telecom and then University College. Now it is about to attain the full status of a university. Now currently, it operates as a university taking care of itself, but it is not on government subvention. And it is hoped that with this absorption into the public system and becoming a public university, two major things are going to take place. One, the fees that are being paid by students now will drastically reduce. Because of the high fees that are charged, many students are not able to go there. Very few students are available, although they have quite a large number of students on roll. So it is hoped that with the absorption of the university into the public system, this will happen, and then they will have enough funds also to develop.
Due to the motion and to wholeheartedly declare support for the provision of a legal framework for the establishment of the Ghana Communication Technology University Bill of 2020, and to urge our colleagues to support it. And Mr. Speaker, going around the memory lane and history, following the sale of Vodafone, or following the sale of Ghana Telecom to Vodafone International, it was one of my difficult inheritance as Minister for Communication to negotiate the sticky aspects of the sale, which included this particular university and all the lands associated with it, together with fiber on power lines. Mr. Speaker, I'm particularly happy that today is being given birth to.
All those in favor of the motion listed say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is duly adopted.
Stay away from the Education Ministry. The Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Honorable Ajia Halima, on the floor of Parliament yesterday, have stated that construction of market centers in some communities in the Shai Osudoku constituency is inconclusive. The minister noted that some are at the level of completion, whilst others have some issues which are being dealt with.
This question on behalf of Linda Akule Oklu, MP for Shai Osudoku. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development when construction works on market centers for the following communities in the Shai Osudoku constituency will be undertaken: Dodowa, Ashutari, and Doyobu. Thank you. The Dodowa market in the Shai Osudoku constituency has been in existence for 28 years. The Assembly took a decision to redevelop the market in phases and applied under the 1 million per constituency project to the Coastal Development Authority for funding to implement the first phase of the project. The first phase of the project, which covers the construction of 40 lockable shops, 40 open shares, and a crèche, was awarded to Mrs. Rock Solutions Limited at a contract sum of 1,983,642 Ghana cedis and 24 Ghana pesos. It was to be completed in 6 calendar months. The contractor is expected to start work as soon as negotiations with families claiming ownership of the land currently ongoing are completed. Mr. Speaker, the Shai Osudoku District Assembly with support from the Ministry of Special Development Initiatives
is also undertaking the construction of one number rural market at Asuchuari. The project is part of the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program, aimed at constructing markets in some selected districts across the country. The construction of the market project started on 22nd July 2019 and comprised of 72 open market sheds, 2 warehousing facilities, and a 4-seater toilet facility with a mechanized borehole. The project is being executed by Mrs. Nagmas Limited at a contract sum of 911,999 Ghana cedis, 55 Ghana pesos, for completion in 7 calendar months. Construction work started on 22nd July 2019, and the project is 95% complete. Mr. Speaker, contract for the construction of phase 2 of the Asuchuari market in the Shah Sudoku constituency has been awarded to Mrs. Zego Limited with funding from the Coastal Development Authority and the 1 million per constituency project. The contract sum is 1,983,642 Ghana cedis, 24 Ghana pesos, and is for completion in 6 calendar months. Doyumu market is also an existing community market with limited space for expansion. The Assembly, however, has plans to develop the market and has captured this in its 2020 action plan. The development of the market will start when funds are available.
The Member of Parliament for Damango constituency and a ranking member on the Energy and Mines Committee, Honorable Mutala Adams Mutakawa Kilo, has cautioned the government to reverse the 100% increment on bust margin tax component of petrol prices build-up. This comes after the statements by the National Petroleum Authority, which stated that the hectogenous 30 pesos per litre bust margin in the price build-up of petroleum product has been hiked by 100% to 6 pesos. According to the lawmaker, this shouldn't happen in times like this when Ghanaians are facing challenges due to the coronavirus pandemic, and therefore urged government as to a matter of urgency to reverse the decision.
National Petroleum Authority towards the weekend announced increase in bust margin by 100%, effective 1st June 2020. The minority condemned this in no uncertain terms. There is no basis on which bust margin should be increased 100%. Considering the management of busts, how they manage our fuel. We are all aware of the contaminated fuel, 5 million liters. And BOS has not been able to prove beyond reasonable doubt the 3 pesos per liter given them, how much they have used it. And we call on President Nana Akufo-Addo as a matter of agency, withdraw it, more especially in this pandemic where Ghanaians are suffering. We've come to realize as minority that while the President Nana Akufo-Addo is giving relief to Ghanaians as a result of COVID-19, he clandestinely went behind to increasing levies, taxes, and margins. The first attempt was to increase fuel marking margin. They moved to cylinder recovery margin. Then they came to introduce VAT on electricity. And now we are in BOS margin. This is a clear move by the president to ensure that whatever benefit that is due Ghanaians as a result of COVID is collected from the left hand after giving it to Ghanaians in the right hand, with their right hand. So we call on President Nana Akufo-Addo as a matter of urgency to reverse this 100% increase in BOS margin so that Ghanaians who are burdened by COVID-19 will be able to make a good living.
Honorable Adams Mutawakilu over there. Let's do some other stories now. The Electoral Commission has announced the commencement of conducting a pilot exercise on yesterday, 2nd June 2020, in all 16 regions of the country. The enhance of the exercise is to identify problems associated with the new system, I beg your pardon, which include its effects under various weather conditions and to find ways of mitigating them. The statement said all issues identified will be forwarded to the Electoral Commission at a national level for necessary ratifications before the beginning of the exercise at the end of this month. Ghanaian citizens of 18 years and above and of a sound mind are expected to register when the exercise begins with either a Ghanaian passport or a Ghana card as a proof of identification, or present two guarantors who have already registered as voters to be able to register. The EC has assured that safety measures will be put in place at all registration centers throughout the country to protect applicants. That's it for the news this morning. My name is Nanya Makolis, and we'll bring you updates of these stories in a subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, you can visit adwanewsonline.com for more news.